Everybody cut your mics on. I will call the meeting to order, and we will begin our public hearing for the Madison County Board of Zoning Appeals. First item, I haven't done this in the past, Alan, but I guess we need to approve the agenda formally.
Turn the mic on. Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would say so.
Okay. So we have agenda presented in front of us by staff, so we just need a motion to approve the agenda as presented, or if you have something to add or request, we should add it at this time.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Any
Any opposed? So the agenda is approved as submitted. For new business, adoption of the previous minutes from December 16th. Any additions or corrections to the minutes as submitted? Hearing none, we need a motion to approve him then.
I move to approve the minutes from December 16th.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve the minutes as submitted signify by saying aye, please.
Aye.
Any opposed? So the minutes are approved as submitted. All right, before we get into our case for tonight, then, we have two board members that their terms will expire on April 17th. Suzanne Law and Roger Clatterbuck. And I have spoken with Suzanne, and she is agreeable to continue, correct, Suzanne?
That's correct.
Okay, and I've spoken with Roger, and he would like to go off at the end of his term. Is that still your wish?
That is correct.
So, I guess, do we need to take a motion on that, Alan, or is that just something we forward to Kim for the board?
I'm not the procedural expert, but I would say that it's probably, if you would like me to act on your behalf and relaying your intent
I think that would be the
to
best.
the Board of Supervisors, then you would motion to, direct staff to present your wish to recommend, the two seated members now to continue on to a new term.
Okay, so we have one that wants to continue and one that wishes to go off.
Oh, but I misunderstood.
Yeah, Roger wishes to go off the board after,
Sure.
what, 2 or 3 terms anyway.
Very good. Well, we'll be
And-
sad to see you go, Roger.
And I guess, and we need to talk about this too, I mean, Jessica, you're our alternate now, the typical is the alternate becomes a board member, is that something you would consider?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so I think the board would need to take action on the whole, transaction that we just talked about, Suzanne staying on, Roger stepping off, and Jessica moving up to the board, and then we would need to advertise for at least one alternate. Do I have that
I know there
correct?
was previous discussion about this body recommending their future member.
Right,
So would you like to have Jonathan's executive assistant advertise for the position and then see the applications? Or do you have somebody in mind you'd like to recommend?
I personally don't have anybody in mind. I don't know if anybody has any suggestions, but I think the appropriate thing would be to have the board advertise it and to see if they get any responses.
Okay. I'm quite sure we'll get responses when advertised.
Okay,
Just wondered if you had an interest in reviewing those
oh,
before.
sure,
Okay,
sure,
that's what I wanted to know.
yes. Okay.
All right, I can certainly do that.
Okay, to make it official, then, we just need, if it's okay with the board, we just need a motion to do that, or if there's other discussion or preference of board members.
So I move that staff take our decision to the county administrator, Kim, and to let them take it to the
Board of
Board of
Supervisors.
Supervisors.
Okay, as we just discussed.
As we just discussed.
Okay. Is there a second, Suzanne's motion?
I'll second.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so the motion to present that to Jonathan to present to the board has passed. So just let us know if anybody wants to be an alternate, and we'll go from there, I guess.
Very good. Betsy, I will pass it along and I will provide updates as I have them.
Okay, and Roger will have a party next month, so don't miss it.
We have a case for next month, so.
Oh,
so we'll be
okay.
here. Although the 17th.
So you won't get off
will be-
easy.
Working right down to the last minute.
That's right. Okay, so we'll go right into our case for tonight. Our case is case number V7251. Kevin Wagner has applied for variance of Madison County Code of Ordinance, Appendix 1, Article 5-4. Structure shall be located 35 or more feet from any street right-of-way which is 50 feet or greater in width, or 60 feet or more from the center line of any street right-of-way less than 50 feet in width. All accessory structures must be located 10 feet or more from any property line. The applicant is requesting a setback be reduced from 60 feet to 26 feet in order to construct a garage and workshop. The variance is requested for property located as 95 India Lane and further identifies Madison County Tax Map 58-102. So Kevin, would you just like to work through your application with everybody and try to explain your situation and explain what your hardship is?
Oh, come on, I'll
Probably
get a podium
best
for you here.
If you
Yeah,
go
that
up
way
to
you
the
can
podium if you want to.
set up.
I'll just begin by reading through this letter.
If you'd like to, that'd be fine.
Okay. Dear Board of Zoning, in September 2020, as first-time home buyers, my wife and I purchased property at 95 India Lane. On this property existed an old home, 1920, and a derelict barn that appeared to have been originally a corn crib and was expanded to park equipment under. From the time of purchase, I have planned to replace that old barn with a new structure. June of 2024, I began pursuing my plan to replace the barn. I made inquiry at the health department regarding proximity to my septic tank, and which is near the site to the north, and learned 10 feet is the recommended distance. Then spoke to Janet at the zoning office regarding boundary lines, yard size, and which parts of my lot are acceptable for accessory structures. Unfortunately, the plat that I had for my property did not show the location of the existing structures. And I made one very significant assumption that turned out to be quite wrong. In my review of my plat, and by observing the use and caretaking of the land, I assumed that my boundary line was on the east side of India Lane. GIS also added to my confirmation bias. With this assumption, I believed that my site met all of zoning ordinances. On September 1st, 2024, I demolished the old barn and leveled the ground. Then I proceeded to stake out the proposed build site, fill out my applications for building and zoning approval. I began to find inconsistencies with the physical site and my plat. It was at this point that I began to second guess my assumption of where my property lines were. I questioned my neighbors to their understanding of the boundary lines and found I was not the only one without a clear understanding. So I hired Axis Land Surveying to do a boundary line and improvement survey of my property. To everyone's surprise, the old barn was not entirely on my property. The right-of-way easement drawn on the plat comes within a few feet of my house, and the setback from it would encompass the majority of my house and the septic system. This led me to question why India Lane was constructed outside of the right-of-way drawn on the plat. Apparently, the owner of my property during the time of India Lane's construction was a relative of the other landowners, and they simply expressed that they did not wish to share the driveway. November 2024, I hired attorney Slayton to look into the possibility of relocating the right-of-way. His research found that the right-of-way, as drawn on the plat from 1996, was never granted by deed, or at least it was not recorded. The only deeded access was from 1921 and described as a 12-foot access for lots 1 and 2 through lot 3. Due to the owners of the new lot number 2, the owners of the new lot number 2 were left without deeded right-of-way. Whether this fact was understood in 1996 is unknown, but there has not been any conflict because of it, to my knowledge. Attorney Slayton drafted a deed of right of easement for us. This revised easement would have relocated the legal right-of-way to coincide with India Lane as it exists currently. This correction would have extended the existing 12-foot right-of-way from 1921 to reach all the way to the new lot number 2 and follow the course of India Lane as it actually exists. Unfortunately, after 8 months of seemingly amiable communication with my neighbor's last response was, quote, "Following a discussion with my husband, I would like to inform you that we will not be signing any legal documents at this time. It is essential for me to seek legal advice to ensure that my property and rights are adequately protected," end quote. This request seems reasonable and good, so I postponed this zoning hearing that Mr. Nichols had originally scheduled for July of 2025. I have sent several messages in the last 6 months attempting to reopen dialogue with my neighbor without success. In February of this year, I heard through a third party that my neighbor just wants to keep things as they are. This brings me to where we are now to request your consideration of my situation. I propose to replace the old barn, which was approximately 280 square feet, with a new structure of 1,728 square feet, with an added 575 square feet on the south wall for raised garden beds with the option to cover seasonally like a greenhouse. The permanent part of the structure would be a combination of garage and workshop. The site I am proposing is nestled between my septic system, greater than 10-foot clearance to the north, my circle driveway, 15 feet to the south, my garden to the west, and my boundary line to the east, 32 feet to the east. Also, the center of India Lane as it exists is 47 feet to the nearest corner of my proposed structure. Alternative sites on my property could include the west side of the house or the back edge of the property beyond the septic system. But both sites have challenges. The west side of the house slopes steeply into a ravine, which would pose significant building challenges and also require massive amounts of fill to raise the grade enough to have vehicular access into the garage. This would also require several hundred feet of new driveway, which would be redundant and unnecessary. The back edge of the property, the north side, is appropriately sloped for building on, but is 250 feet or more from the house and would be more like an independent structure than an accessory to the house. Also, though I do not have plans to build a second home on this property at this time, I would like to reserve this area for that purpose if that were to come to pass. Over the course of the past 18 months, I have appreciated the help of Mr. Nichols, Mr. Slayton, staff at the Health Department, and Axis Land Surveying. I have incurred the expenses of a full survey and the fees associated with attempting to correct the right-of-way deed. Through this process, my neighbors have been cordial and understanding up until one has stopped responding. This leaves me somewhat conflicted. The search that Attorney Slayton did into this matter of right-of-way proved that the 38-foot extension from 1996 to the existing 12-foot right-of-way from 1921 was not granted by deed. In the absence of a deeded right-of-way extension, I presume that the 12-foot right-of-way from 1921 is the legal binding agreement. Having heard my state of affairs, I respectfully ask you to consider my request for variance of the setback requirements for a right-of-way less than 50 feet in width, ordinance setback distance states 60 feet from center. My site lends itself to a position 26 feet from center of the right-of-way and 32 feet from the boundary line. I thank you for hearing my request, and I respect your capacity to make a prudent decision in this matter.
So Kevin, your corner where your road accesses off of India Lane, you have no problem with accessing that with that 12 feet, is that correct?
Correct. It does currently encroach some on my neighbor's property.
Right,
There, in the right-of-way correction that Attorney Slayton drafted, it addressed that extra encroachment, and also my circle driveway also encroaches about 6 feet on the neighbor's property.
okay. Yeah, but the way the plat's drawn here, you have access at that corner to the
Yes.
original 12 feet
Yes,
with no problem.
yes.
Okay, does your neighbor in the back understand not having that India Lane recorded correctly, what that does to his property?
I have mentioned it several times that I don't legally know what the repercussions are, but that it appears that when the lots were redistributed, that 12-foot stops. And
Well-
there is no deeded access beyond it.
Well, if it's deeded though, it's deeded, unless you vacate the deeded that you were awarded. I mean, they've started using India Lane, but if your neighbor that India Lane crosses wish to stop that use, then they would have to go back to the 12 feet if it's in the deed.
That's correct.
That's what I mean, do they understand what it does to their title with it the way it is? I mean, looks like you've done a lot of work to try to correct it. Looks like to me they would want to accept Mr. Slayton's proposal. I'm just throwing it out there.
I would agree with that.
Okay, any questions from Zoning Appeals Board for Mr. Wagner?
I noticed in your letter, it's about halfway down through the second page, you said also the center of India Lane is in our paper, it says 30 feet, but you said 47 feet, so is that,
I believe I changed that number after I moved my building further.
okay, so you did,
From
so
the
it,
boundary line.
so actually you're gonna be further off the right, basically.
Well, when I say India Lane, that is as it exists and as they're using it. That's not from the center of the deeded right-of-way.
Okay.
So that 47 feet is from the center of India Lane? Okay. And if that was major access, you'd be 47 feet from that rather than the 12,
Rather than the 26.
rather than the 26 from the 12-foot right-of-way. Any other?
Mr. Chairman, may I
Yes.
interject a little bit of
Sure.
context?
Go right ahead, Al.
There was a order of operations issue that came into play with Mr. Wagner's application for to put the building up originally. If the building had not been torn down before he sought to build a new one, he could have, or if he had done a demolition permit concurrently with a building permit, that building could have remained there and been expanded onto. And, we wouldn't be asking for the variance here today. So it was a order of operations problem that came into play here. That building was there for a very long time. Certainly, Mr. Wagner has done everything he possibly could to avoid coming here today to remedy that. I just wanted to put that thought in your mind, that simply if the paperwork had been done in a different way,
Right,
that building could still exist exactly where it is.
okay.
Essentially, what he's proposing now is better than he could have done if the paperwork had been done in a different order.
Sure, yeah, I'm just saying. Well, he definitely doing your due diligence to improve that India Lane legalities there. There are definitely some legal issues that have been ignored down the road. Other questions, comments, other members? Mr. Wagner?
Alan, I'm assuming you reached out to the neighbors on the list. Any comments from anybody?
We sent the letters to all of the adjacent and adjoining property owners as the state code prescribes. We also did the necessary advertising. I received informal commentary from neighbors encouraging of Mr. Wagner's efforts, but they did not wish to appear tonight, so I've heard no negative
Okay.
commentary.
All right, thank you.
Okay, any other questions from board? To the audience, anybody in the audience to comment? Okay, back to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Any other questions, comments?
Just a minor clarification. I did notice that on the Virginia Department of Health letter, they do mention that the height was 28 feet proposed versus your application at 21 feet. Just wanted to maybe clarify which may be correct as of now. I understanding things do change.
I actually don't remember. I could look that up on my computer if you would like me to.
Are you guys interested? It's not critical. I was just curious for consistency mostly. Sorry. Thank you.
Made a number of attempts to
Changes.
try to find something amenable that some of the details changed along the way.
Understandable. Yep. Thank you. No further questions from me.
Okay. Well, I personally am comfortable with the variance, especially if, if India Lane gets adjusted as you have proposed to your neighbors, then your distance, your setback distance increases to almost what you need anyway. And simply for the situation that you're in, based on apparently how it was done historically before you entered the picture and hasn't been corrected, so that's just my opinion.
I really appreciate everything that you've done and taken on yourself the expense of trying to get this to work. I make a motion that we accept the application
For the
variance.
variance, okay. The motion is made by Ms. Long to accept his request for the variance as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay,
Point of order, Mr. Chairman, can the motion be amended to say to approve? Because I assume that's
Approve.
what you mean.
Yes,
Yes.
thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Is that acceptable,
Second.
Roger?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So the variance is approved as submitted. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Good luck with here on
Good
out.
luck.
Okay, the only other thing on the agenda, item on the agenda is the BZA bylaws draft that Alan has put together for us. And I hope everybody has received this and has looked through it some. I just wanted to go over with you. I'm not gonna go over it item by item unless somebody has a question, but just to put it out there and ask people to review it and to be ready. I think at next month's meeting would probably be appropriate to take action on it.
The county attorney has received a copy of the draft
Okay,
and is reviewing this and has said that he will have commentary for us by the April meeting.
okay,
He had not had capacity to do so before
Okay.
today, but he got it at the same time I sent it to all of you.
okay. So throwing it out there to let everybody know about it and encouraging you to be ready to discuss it at our April meeting, providing that the attorney gets back with his opinion, if he has any suggestions.
Very good. The only thing that may change the timeline on that,
Okay,
I do not know if a public hearing is required for the adoption of such a
Okay.
thing. And so I'm waiting for Hannon to tell me.
Okay.
So if there's a procedural issue that comes up between now and then, and we have to advertise for a public hearing, we'll wait till the next time we have a variance or an appeal, and then we will,
No problem.
we'll advertise for that meeting.
I think we're most agreeable to whatever works within the legalities of the situation, so.
Thank you.
Just look over the draft, everybody, and see if there's something in particular you have questions about or something you'd like to add or change. Or if you have something tonight, now would be a good time to bring it up.
I did look over it, and I want to thank you, Alan. This is great.
Yes.
It's kind of scary that we've operated for so many years without it,
Yes.
but I appreciate it very much. I did have a couple of questions, and maybe we can just note them, and you
Sure.
can, you know,
Let's
at
do it.
another time. So on page 3, number 3, a quorum. What is the quorum for this group?
So a quorum for the Board of Zoning Appeals, it depends on the case you're hearing. For if I get it right, and I can reference the state
Okay.
code, but if I get it right, a quorum for a variance is, it would be 3 members. Like, it would be
Okay.
enough to have a vote.
Okay,
For an appeal, when you're
Uh-huh.
acting as a quasi judicial body, it's
Right.
more. I think you have to
Okay.
have 5 members
Okay.
seated, which is why you have the alternate, so you can do business.
sure.
I believe that is correct, but
All right.
I will reference it. And that'll come into play next month. Betsy, we cannot discuss the specifics, but
Right.
there is an appeal coming in April.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Then I had a question on page 5, number 3, participation. And it says basically that we hear for anybody, any department.
Yeah, anybody aggrieved by a decision made by an administrator can appeal to the Board of Zoning Appeals. This is a state code item, so it's pulled right from their language. So
Okay.
if I make a decision and a neighbor doesn't like that I permitted somebody to go and do a thing, or I made a determination, they can appeal my decision to you.
Okay,
So
I
you can
understand that.
then look at the ordinance and the
But
code
that
provision.
wasn't clear to me in that, because it seemed to me that it was anybody, not just you.
I think that's how the state code is written. We can look at it really quick, but I believe that comes right from their language, is why they did that. Is that any administrator?
Says any other administrative office or by any office or department.
Give me a minute, because I think that's exactly from the language, but I will tell you. 15 point, which is why I cited all of those things, because some of those things seemed counterintuitive, but it
Yes.
is what it is.
We're not
2-2311.
paid enough to do that.
Suzanne values her Tuesday nights.
That's right.
Don't go into Wednesday morning, right?
Determination of an administrative officer. It is wide in how it is broad and how it is stating. However, for our purposes, I am more than happy to take that and strike that language there. But given how broad the state code is, if you want to narrow and somebody wants to bring up a case before you that is different than you're used to seeing, I'm happy to ask for other counsel to make a determination whether that's there.
I'd appreciate
I'm
that.
totally happy with that.
That sounds good.
But that is how it reads, any administrative officer, when you
Wow.
read the state code. But since I have your draft here, I'll just go ahead and make the change. And then, of course, I will send out an update to you, what's here.
And we could get put in some really interesting positions, couldn't we?
Exactly.
Good catch, Suzanne.
Well, I remember some things in the past, we could just send them to the BZA and been done with
That's
it, right?
right.
There we go. We're going to strike that line. So it just says decision of the zoning administrator of Madison County in accordance with. We'll do that.
Okay.
What else you got?
Thank you.
Oh, of course.
I mean, we've always done it that way, and that, when I saw that, I thought, oh my golly.
I suspect you have more authority than you think you do.
Anything else, Suzanne?
That's what I had.
Your annual reporting in there, we're essentially doing that for you already.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
I report on your behalf in my monthly reports to the Board of Supervisors as to your activities. If you ever want that to change, please tell me. We'll do whatever you want.
I think we're quite comfortable.
You were happy with that?
Yes.
The only thing that I don't do, because it doesn't come up very often, is if you have any expenditures. And so if you want those things, that would be discussed in this setting.
Sure. Okay, well, if nobody has anything else right now,
No,
just
I
take it
don't.
home and look over it, and we'll count on spending more time with it at the April meeting. Whether the attorney is ready or not, we can still spend a little more time with it, just to make sure we get it the way the board would like to have it presented.
Very good. Save a new draft and
Yep.
keep going.
Okay, is there anything else before Board of Zoning Appeals tonight that was not on the agenda?
Just one other brief thing,
ahead.
seeing as though we do have an appeal coming up next week on a vested rights question, I'm going to send out a couple of links to sections of the state code and how the appeals are written, because we don't do it very often. And I think it might be pertinent if you choose to go through and read it's about half a dozen paragraphs on how the appeals are done
Okay.
in the state code. I'll send that out to everybody for review before we get there.
Thank you.
So you can't tell us what's coming before us yet?
The packet will be published here in just a few days. I have everything there, but I don't want to have I have an attorney doing the appeal.
Sure,
And so I don't want to debate whether we had ex parte conversation or not.
no problem.
Okay,
If you can't, you can't.
What's that?
If you can't, you can't, that's fine.
It doesn't have to be an issue. You'll have it in a couple
We don't want to
days.
make it an issue. We don't want to make it an issue. Okay, anything else before the BZA tonight? Just need a motion for adjournment, please.
I'll make a motion to be adjourned.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.